Today we are making a magic color changing card using digital products from super sponsor Whimsy Stamps and KCC 14 sketch number 7. My name is Julia and I'm an enthusiastic card maker and paper crafter from Austria. Welcome to my channel, Julie's Kreativschatzkiste. As you might know already, Kendra's Card Challenge has a lot of great super sponsors and one of them is Whimsy Stamps. They provided me and some design team colleague members generously with some products, which I'm using today in this video. This video is also a giveaway hop. I will tell you more about that later. If you're not familiar with Kendra's Card Challenge yet, I will also give you some information later in this video. But now let's get right into crafting. These are the products I will be using today. These papers are from the Aqua Breeze digital paper pack. I have chosen these 3 patterns, and as they are digital papers, I could calculate beforehand how much paper I'm going to need, and then I put the measurements together on my computer on one A4 sheet, which I then printed out. For this method you can use many computer programs, for example PowerPoint or Keynote or any graphic program. The advantage of this method is you print only the paper you're going to use and not more. As focal image of my card I chose this bee, which is so cute. It's from the Be Happy digital stamp set. In the stamp set there are also other really cute bees. If you want to check it out, all the links are in my description box. For my magic color changing mechanism, I printed the bee out on paper first, and then on vellum as well in the exact same measurements. You could also do that on printable foil, but I didn't have any, so vellum was the next best choice, and it turned out really nice, I have to say. This is the sketch I'm going to use today, sketch number 7 of Kendra's Card Challenge number 14. There is a 3-inch square in the middle, and this will be my magic color changing mechanism. So for cutting my bees from the vellum and the printed paper in the right format, I first start by preparing a 3-inch square paper. Just in case you're wondering, I printed the bee 3 times to be sure if something goes wrong that I have enough bees at hand. I use this 3-inch template now to mark my cutting lines on the A4 paper. I want to have the bee exactly in the middle, and that's what I'm measuring right now. First horizontally and then vertically. That is a big advantage of digital images. As I knew beforehand I would need a 3-inch square for the bee, I adjusted the size of the digital image before printing it, so it fits perfectly. Then, in order to make sure that the vellum and the printed paper align perfectly, which is necessary for my color changing mechanism, I align them now and then I stick them together with low-tech tape. And this way I can cut them out both together, and I'm sure that the 3-inch square is the same for the vellum and the paper. And this is what it looks like when it's cut. I'm going to color the bee on the printed paper with my alcohol markers. I swatched some colors beforehand. When choosing the colors, I also made sure that they match the digital papers I chose. I tried to always have 2 different shades of the same color to make darker shadows in the picture. I started out with rather light colors, but when I later tried to put the vellum on top of it, the colors were too much muted and too light for my taste, so you will see me darken up all the colors in the bee afterwards. So while I'm coloring the bee, maybe that's the perfect time to tell you more about Kendra's Card Challenge if you're not familiar with it already. Kendra's Card Challenge is a quarterly challenge where Kendra from the YouTube channel Cards by Kendra provides a free PDF every quarter. And in this PDF you will find 15 unique card sketches which can be made out of 6 sheets, 6 by 6 inch patterned paper. Not only are the measurements for the single sketches included in the PDF, there's also a cutting template for the patterned paper. It's really great fun, and you can even win prizes if you participate in the challenge. For participating, you have to submit a photo of all the 15 cards you made with the challenge in the Kendra's Card Challenge Facebook group, which is linked in my description box. In the description box you will also find the link where you can download the free PDF from Kendra. You have to join Patreon, but it's completely free. There are also paid options for her Patreon with great goodies and perks, which I also encourage you to check out. By the way, you can participate once per month, so 3 times per quarter in challenge. I really hope you try it. And as I mentioned great prizes, this is also a giveaway hop, as I said in the beginning. In my description box you will find a playlist for all the videos participating in this giveaway hop. Please check out all these videos, because I'm sure my design team colleagues will also give you great inspiration with the wonderful products of super sponsor Whimsy Stamps. There's a form linked in my description box which you have to fill out in order to participate in the prize drawing. You can win a digital prize from Cards by Kendra. The deadline for filling in the form is May 2nd, 2024. The winner will be randomly chosen and announced on the Cards by Kendra YouTube channel community tab. Good luck! Right in time, our coloring of the bee is finished. It turned out really nice, I think. When putting the vellum on top of the bee, you can again see that the colors are muted. I kind of like the effect though. So if you use vellum for a magic color changing card, I can just recommend you to use dark and bold colors. By the way, I later added some orange dots around the bee. In the next step, it's time to cut the digital and printed papers in the measurements given in the sketch number 7, which I'm using today. I have to mention that the sketches are made for the American A2 format, which is a little bit shorter than our European A6 format. So I adjusted the measurements a little bit. I elongated the blue paper as well as the green strips on the sketch. The square in the middle is unchanged at 3 inches as given in the sketch. I also cut matting layers where necessary out of cream paper. And here's a first glance at what my card will look like later. For dark yellow paper, I cut out strips with a length of 3 inches as the square with the bee is. The width is a little bit bigger than given in the sketch because I have to amend that later on. The way my color changing mechanism works is that I can insert a piece of plain paper between my vellum and my colored bee. So in order to make a nice slot for my paper to be inserted into, I cut out a paper but longer than 3 inch, and then I make a fold line with my trimmer at exactly the 3 inch mark. I will then turn that and burnish it very well with my bone folder, and below this flap I can later adhere my vellum as well as the yellow paper, and nothing will get stuck with the mechanism. But of course first, in order that my bee is visible, I need to turn the square into a frame with a width of 1/4 inch, and that is what I'm doing here. If you don't have the tools to make a frame, no problem, you can just use any square nesting dies for that. By the way, when making this frame, my flap was turned over the whole time, and I also cut it to the same width as the frame. I have now everything ready for the front part of my color changing mechanism. For the construction, I start with adhering the yellow strips to the vellum using my tape runner because it sticks very well on vellum. I'm not aligning the lower edges of the paper strips, but I'm rather placing the yellow strips in a way that my bee is visible. And then I'm just cutting off the excess of my yellow paper so that the square is finally 3 inch again. In the next step I adhere my vellum to my frame using the tape runner again, and I'm placing my vellum in between the frame and the flap that I created before. This way I have a nice upper edge, which will be important for my mechanism afterwards. The same way as before, I created another 3 inch square with a fold on the upper edge. On this square I attach my colored bee. The difference to my vellum part is that my fold is folded to the front, so it's glued on top of my colored image. Again, this is for having a nice upper edge, for inserting a paper there easier. And as I cut the paper as well as the vellum out together, both fit on top of each other perfectly. And then I created another frame out of a 3 inch square. From this frame I will cut off the top and I will glue it down on my colored image. The purpose of this frame is to create a gap between my vellum and my colored paper, for making it easier to insert a plain paper between the two of them. And speaking of the plain paper, we are now cutting that. The width of the paper is 2.5 inch or a little bit less than that, as it's the 3 inch square minus the 2 sides of the frame. The length of the piece of paper is about 3.5 inch because I need some kind of pull tab for pulling the paper out, which I will construct later. First I will glue together all the parts of my sketch on my blank card. For attaching my bee square, I use foam tape to get some dimension. But before I stick that to my card, I also glue together my front and my back of my mechanism. When doing that, I make sure that no glue is on the inside, so on my colored image. And now I adhere it to my card. First time testing the mechanism, and thankfully it works. Finishing off my plain insert paper, I use this die to create a pull tab. You can actually do that with a scissor as well, or leave it as is. I just like the look of this pull tab and I had it at hand. And by the way, I reinforced the pull tab. As additional embellishment, I then cut a hole into the pull tab, and I use this yellow and white thread, which fits perfectly to the colors in my card, and I threaded it through. So far so good, I really like how it's looking so far. The only thing missing now is my sentiment. I had originally printed this happy birthday circle on white paper, and I have digitally added the flowers, which were also included in the digital stamp pack. However, when I cut that out, I didn't like the white on my card, because everything else on the card is not pure white, but rather a cream color. So I printed it out again on cream paper. Unfortunately, my camera wasn't turned on, but I colored the flowers in orange, and I also colored the edge of the circle. I then attached the circle to my card with foam tape. And this is my finished card for today. Did I mention that the bee is so cute? I really like my card, I hope you do too. Please let me know in the comments. I would be really glad if you would leave me a like, or even consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already done so. Please don't forget to check out the full playlist for this giveaway hop, and fill in the form linked in the description box for your chance to win a prize. Servus, until next time!